Welcome back. Dear students, let us begin the second part of the lesson in which we will learn about characteristics of students' T distribution. Students' T distribution is one of the most important sampling distributions in which we are going to describe more on it. The distribution is a continuous probability distribution. It is like a normal distribution as it is a bell shaped and symmetric. It has heavier tails which means that it tends to produce values that fall far from its mean. T-test is used in statistics to estimate the significance of different parameters. It has lesser peakedness than the standard normal distribution. If you observe that blue colored is Z distribution, T distribution is observed with red colored. It is flatter than the normal distribution. It deals with the sampling distribution of small samples with unknown population variances. Coming to the assumptions of the student's T distribution, the sample observations are continuous and independent. The parent population from which the samples have been drawn is normal. Sample groups have been randomly sampled from a population. The variance of different sample groups is similar or homogeneous. The distribution is approximately normal with respect to its symmetry, and further it is lesser peakedness than the standard normal curve as I mentioned earlier. Students' T distribution, if you are going to make use, there are certain conditions that are supposed to be followed. So, let us discuss about the conditions for applicability of students' T distribution. The essential conditions are: the observation shall be continuous. With this continuous scale may be either ratio scale or interval scale. The observation shall be obtained based on the simple technique called simple random sampling. There shall be homogeneity of variance among the sample groups that are considered for the study. The sample sizes will be small and appropriate. The parent population of the sample shall follow the normal distribution. Coming to the properties of the student's T distribution, it is having a nice properties as like normal distribution, and the variable range is in between minus infinity to plus infinity. It has a bell shaped curve and symmetry similar to normal distribution. The shape of the distribution varies with change in the degrees of freedom, and the variance of T distribution is always greater than 1 and is limited only to 3 or more degrees of freedom, and the distribution has higher dispersion than the standard normal distribution. When compared to standard normal and student's T distribution, both are resembling same. However, the sample mean of the standard normal distribution and mean are same, where the sample standard deviation or sample variance is this formula, and the test statistic with Z distribution is x bar minus mu by sigma by root n, where the sigma is called population standard deviation, which is known in the case of normal distribution. However, in the right hand side, if you go there, this is sigma which is unknown in the case of student's T distribution. This is the basic difference between the previous normal distribution and the current T distribution. So, we can understand standard normal distribution and student's T distribution are more or less same. Coming to the approximation with normal distribution, it says that sample size 30 is the cutoff point. When the sample size is more than 30, we call it as large, or otherwise we call it as small. It is seen that means of large samples randomly drawn from the same population produce normal distribution. So, if the samples are large, means n greater than or equal to 30, then the distribution of differences between means will be normal one and represented in terms of standard normal Z square. Applications of T distributions, if you go there, T distribution has a good number of applications. The important applications among that is it will test the significance of the difference between the sample mean and the parent population mean. It will test the significance of difference between two population means when their population variances are equal as well as population variances are unequal. And it also tests the significance of correlation coefficient between two variables in the population when assuming that the population correlation coefficient is 0 and the population correlation coefficient is not equal to 0. It can also further test the significance of difference between two population correlation coefficients, and it can test the significance of regression coefficients. These are the very vibrant applications with respect to students' t distributions. Let us summarize the part 2 of this lesson. In this part, we discussed the description of students' t distribution regarding the assumptions, conditions for applicability, names of the associated sampling distribution more specific to standard normal distribution and their applications. Dear students, I hope you have enjoyed this part of the lesson, and we will go to the next session soon.